Well, we're joined now by Ayo John. He is the director of Viewpoint Africa, a journalist group which promotes development on the continent. Ayo, good evening to you.
Good evening.
It seems to be escalating, getting very much more serious, the situation in Ivory Coast now. And it's difficult to see how it's going to end without some sort of UN intervention.
Yes, it's become very serious. To start with, we were all hoping that Ouattara and his men will get to sort this problem out and Gbagbo would leave the country, but we haven't seen that. And now we're seeing a massacre unfolding where it would appear that both sides are to blame, where the civilians in large numbers have been killed and slaughtered. And it's become a very worrying prospect.
Why would civilians be targeted like that? Is it purely because of political allegiances?
Well, you must understand that the two leaders, both Ouattara and Gbagbo, are bitter enemies. They haven't seen eye to eye for many, many years, and they literally split the country in two, between Gbagbo taking the Christian south and Ouattara taking the Muslim north. So you have a country that's split in two, where the divide is very, very serious, and there are also cultural identities attached to that, which makes it that much more pertinent. And so people can go all out to make sure that one side fails or wins on the other side.
And the civilians get caught in the middle. The UN is there in a peacekeeping role. How much can the UN do?
Well, they've got to do far more, because it's not only going to affect Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, it's actually going to affect its neighbours as well. There are large numbers of people who have been displaced, large numbers of people who are actually migrating as refugees to places like Liberia, Guinea and more so Ghana. And these are fragile states, and we must realise that they're going through crossroads in their development as well.
So given that, are any of those states likely to try and help in Ivory Coast?
Well, you must realise that they're compounded by what's happening in their environment. The fact that they're going through restructuring, they're going through a very difficult time themselves, and they've got weak structures. And if they're compounded by what's going on, they're not going to necessarily have the appetite and financial muscle to be able to support ECOMOG, which was a troop movement which is supported through ECOWAS, to be able to get involved in this battle. And even if we were to do so, the countless lives that will be lost, and of course ECOMOG will be sucked into a war which will go on for much, much longer. And we've seen how ECOMOG, when they got involved in places like Sierra Leone and Liberia, where really civilians were also affected.
Rwanda springs to mind. I mean, are there similarities, or is it very different?
Well, we saw in Rwanda where large numbers of people died between Hutus and Tutsis. Appalling crimes. It wouldn't surprise me after this episode for the UN to actually take action against those who have been responsible. And both leaders will be brought to book, and the world's watching. And there's an element of accountability, which is why Gbagbo has got to leave, and leave now.
Ayo, thank you for talking to us this evening. Ayo John there, who's a journalist from Viewpoint Africa. Thank you. Now we're going to return to